Hi, my name is David Zellner, and I'm here with the feature Kumiko, the Treasure Hunter.
When she travels to Minnesota, what was it like kind of shooting in two very, very different locations?
Um, well, let's see. It was incredibly. We wanted. It was essential that we shot in Japan, in Minnesota. I mean, like shoot on location. That was part of the appeal of the project, but also the different landscapes and environments and cultures. They're almost like secondary characters in the film, and so we really wanted to embrace those to the fullest. We didn't want we wanted her to be immersed in the landscape fully, and we shot this widescreen anamorphic. We really wanted to play visually with the environment around her. In terms of challenges, it was more in terms of ramping up for each. It's almost like we shot two features back to back because we, outside of our cinematographer, we had entirely different crews in Japan and Minnesota. And we had an amazing bilingual crew in Japan. They got the tone that we were going for, and it was new to them, but they were curious and excited. And once we were up and running, it was so much fun, and it couldn't have run smoother as far as I'm concerned. In Minnesota, we had the obstacles of dealing with harsh weather conditions, which sometimes you try to avoid that. But for this film, the more harsh and brutal the weather conditions were, the better. And so we had a team there that was adept at dealing with those circumstances, and you roll and adapt with the weather and the different environments you're placed in.
How was playing your character? Like, I understand it was based kind of on truth.
Oh well, there was some truth in terms of she interacted with some police. I guess that's part of the urban legend, and then there was in truth the woman did interact with some law enforcement, but we wanted the people in America that she encounters to. We didn't want a bad guy. We wanted her to be her own worst enemy in a certain way. We wanted people that were trying to help her and displaying a certain element of kindness, but it's help that's conditional. It's kind of based on their perspective on what help is, because everyone has that's something that's very subjective on what is help and what's best for someone. And so because the kind of help that they're offering would not fit into the narrow bandwidth of what she needed. It was an obstacle in that sense. So that was something that we took with all of the people that she encountered, and we like the idea of people that were sort of on the fringe in their own way, and which might lend them to have a certain empathy and interest in helping her along.
So what was the idea in terms of costume design and everything? Like, she has the blanket draped over her, and she's always dressed in like these shades of red, and she's very bright no matter where she goes.
Yeah, I think I don't know, I'm very visually oriented from the writing stage, and try to the script and down to a lot of the camera shots. It's all pretty planned out visually from the get-go. And a big part of that was the color palette, and so it's partly from an aesthetic choice, and then from a practical one as well. I mean, when we were in Japan, hardly anyone was wearing anything but black on the streets, and so we wanted her wardrobe to contrast that and help her to just another level of isolation, and another way for her to stick out and to make it easy to see her amongst the crowds. And so red was a natural choice there. And then in America, we wanted something that would make her stand out against these snowy wintry wasteland landscapes, and the red worked for that as well. I think a point of reference when we were planning it was we talked about that movie Don't Look Now, and the use of red in that had a very visceral effect on certain things, and so we that was an effective color to use for that, and it's kind of like her uniform. We wanted her to just have one kind of uniform you identify with her throughout, and then as the film goes on, that kind of changes with her poncho as she goes into the wilderness. But yeah, we like the idea of like the Kumiko kind of costume that you identify with her as much as her personality.
Okay. And so the entire film is kind of plays with the ideal of surrealism, like blending fact and fiction. What is it about the kind of concept of this that appeals to you?
I don't know. I think that's just some of my favorite films. The things that inspire me most kind of play with the blurry lines between fact and fiction, and what reality is, and all those things where the balance, where they're neither comedy nor drama, and it's something in between, and just on a gut level knowing when to lean, which direction. I'm a big fan of the director Werner Herzog, and he talks about this thing called a static truth, or truth through stylization, and as opposed to being so literal with the facts, and you can kind of achieve a higher truth through that instead of this kind of hollow literal approach sometimes. And I really prescribe to that approach.
Yeah. And do you know if the Coen Brothers have seen it yet?
No, I don't believe they have, but hopefully at some point.
Yeah. What was the process like in kind of getting permission to use?
Oh, it was a long ordeal.
Yeah.
Just our people working with their people. So.